Hello, dear ARMYs and Jikookers. Welcome back to Jikook Diaries, where Jimin and Jungkook's heartbeats and small whispers become an irreplaceable story. This time, we're discussing the most heart-fluttering moments that happened live on the most emotional stage, the Seoul Final Concert. No one was prepared for the incredible surprise that night. As the spotlight softly turned on and the music started to play, the audience was already stunned by the presence of the three figures who have held so many parts in BTS's story: Jimin, Jungkook, and J-Hope. But that night was not just an ordinary performance. It was a living witness to chemistry, love, and a bond that is hard to explain in words. As Jimin and Jungkook stood side by side, their smiles were so natural, as if they were speaking a language that only the two of them understood. They stared at each other, chuckled, and occasionally touched each other in such a gentle way that fans felt their hearts stop for a moment. But then came the moment that truly shook everything. J-Hope, who had made a special surprise appearance that night, suddenly joined the center stage. And as if it had been planned in their hearts, not in the script, the three of them held hands and looked out at the sea of ARMY. Jungkook turned to Jimin, and then looked at J-Hope with a meaningful smile, before saying a short sentence that was caught on the microphone. "We're still together." The short sentence sounds simple, but in the world of Jikook and BTS, it is a promise that no matter what happens, their bond will remain strong, unbroken by time or distance. Not only that, the moment when Jimin lovingly wiped the sweat off Jungkook's neck with his own hand, and Jungkook, who responded with a shy smile, made the entire venue explode with emotional screams. And when J-Hope put his arm around the two of them, it felt like a small family reunion, full of warmth and meaning. Fans can't stop talking about this moment. Social media was flooded with video clips, tears, laughter, and speculation that maybe that night was their way of saying something without having to say it directly. That behind the spotlight, they still had each other. That Jikook was not just a coincidence on stage, but a story that was being written silently, between song lyrics, gazes, and hugs that never lost their meaning. But the magic didn't stop there. After the main performance, as the encore lights dimmed, Jimin and Jungkook were seen lingering on stage just a little longer. Jimin leaned toward Jungkook, whispering something that made Jungkook chuckle and blush at the same time. He instinctively nudged Jimin's shoulder with his own, and that small gesture was enough to send the crowd screaming once again. It wasn't grand, but in the world of Jikook, the smallest things are often the loudest declarations. Even as the others exited the stage, Jimin turned around to wait for Jungkook. He didn't move until they could walk side by side just like always. And the way Jungkook glanced at him, soft, respectful, and quietly devoted, made it clear that no amount of time or fame could erode what they had built together. In that single night, we saw laughter, support, unspoken tenderness, and a connection that doesn't beg for attention. It simply exists, powerfully and undeniably. Many fans believe that these kinds of moments are far from rehearsed. They're fragments of a reality that peeks through the performance. But what truly made the night unforgettable was the atmosphere that couldn't be recreated, a sense of longing, relief, and overwhelming love that filled the entire stadium. The Seoul air was cold, but inside the venue, warmth flowed from stage to seats like an invisible thread tying hearts together. The stage was filled with lights, fireworks, and music, but none of that compared to the raw, unscripted emotions that danced between the three of them. Every time Jimin and Jungkook's eyes met, there was a softness that no camera could fully capture. Like two people who had walked through every storm together and finally found themselves standing at the edge of something beautiful, holding on to a truth they've always known. The way Jungkook would subtly lean toward Jimin when the crowd roared, the way Jimin would instinctively reach to pat his back, those weren't just stage habits. They were reflexes born from years of trust, laughter, and quiet understanding. The crowd noticed, and more importantly, they felt it. In one particular moment, during the ballad section of the performance, Jungkook's voice slightly trembled as he began singing the opening lines of Still With You. Fans were already emotional, but when Jimin stepped closer to him and gently touched his arm off script, unrehearsed, it was as if the whole crowd held their breath at once. It wasn't grand. It wasn't flashy. but it felt like the world stopped for a second. Jimin didn't even need to say anything. His presence beside Jungkook was enough to steady him. And Jungkook? He glanced at Jimin, gave a small, grateful smile, and kept singing, stronger than before. That was the magic of the night, not the lights, not the stage setup, but the moments when they forgot the world was watching. J-Hope, with his vibrant energy and ever-watchful eyes, seemed to act as both anchor and witness. His surprise appearance was not just a gift to fans, but perhaps also to Jimin and Jungkook. He stood between them like a bridge, a reminder of the days they laughed in tiny rooms, trained under pressure, and held each other up through moments the public never saw. As confetti fell like snow, Jimin looked up at the sky, arms wide, spinning slowly in the center of the stage. He looked like someone who had finally found peace. Jungkook, walking behind him, couldn't hide his smile. There was admiration in his eyes. Not the kind that you have for a fellow performer, but the kind reserved for someone who carries your heart. After the final bow, Jimin hesitated before leaving the stage. He kept glancing back, as if trying to capture the last fragments of the night. And once again, Jungkook appeared beside him, not with words, but with his quiet presence. They bowed together, they waved together, and as they turned to walk backstage, fans captured the moment. Jimin lightly tugged at Jungkook's sleeve, making sure he didn't walk too far ahead. Seoul Final was not just a celebration of the end of the tour. It was a stage where the love, friendship, and depth of the relationship of these three extraordinary figures were shown in real terms. In front of thousands of pairs of eyes, Jimin, Jungkook, and J-Hope gave more than just a show. They gave their hearts, and for a moment the whole world felt it. And for us, ARMY and Jikookers, this moment will live forever, repeated in our memories, kept in our hearts, and written in a small history called unspoken love. Thank you for accompanying us in Jikook Diaries, a place where every beat, gaze, and step of Jimin and Jungkook means more than just being together on stage. The night in Seoul Finals proved one thing, that their love and connection is real, deep, and unshakable. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you also believe that Jikook's story continues, even behind the scenes. From the surprise appearance of J-Hope to the silent messages passed between glances and gestures, Seoul Final became one of the most emotional chapters in the Jikook journey. We'll be here to document every heartbeat. See you in the next video. Borahi Army, Purple Heart Sparkles.